Welcome back to the kitchen at Andersen Acres. Today we are going to be making something easy, quick, and something that you can customize and it'll please your whole family. We are going to be making tortellini salad. This is really simple. It's really just a tortellini dish with a bunch of other stuff on it. So we're going to start by boiling some water and adding some tortellini to that boiling water. How much tortellini? How big a family you got? Enough to feed your family. And we are going to give that a stir. We are going to let that tortellini come back to a boil. And then we are going to let that tortellini cook. In the meantime, heat a skillet. We're going to throw some butter, a couple of tablespoons. You can use margarine if you prefer. So about the tortellini, but we're putting the butter in there, let the butter melt. About the tortellini, you can use any kind of tortellini or even a ravioli, any stuffed pasta that you have in your fridge. You can fresh make it yourself by hand. You can buy it fresh at the store. You can get it out of your freezer if you went to Costco and bought a bunch of tortellini and don't know what to do with it. You can do all of that. All right? So what I'm going to do now is we're going to let this melt for a minute. And we will occasionally be just skipping ahead, because sometimes things are going to take a little longer than you think. Occasionally give this a stir so all your tortellinis get nice and wet. They got to get in there. They got to get cooked. Follow the package directions if you're using packaged tortellini for how long to cook your tortellini. So now we're going to focus down on the pan. This is the pan, and I have put butter in my pan. Let's rotate a little bit. We have put butter in our pan. We're letting that butter melt. We are at a medium or a medium-low heat. You don't want to go higher than medium. Okay, higher than medium, your butter's going to burn, your food's going to burn. It's not going to be fun. I give this pasta another stir. You don't have to stir it constantly. Just agitate it once in a while. Agitate it by stirring it, not by yelling at it. Yelling at it doesn't help. There we go. So, as we've got our butter melting in here, we are going to decide on our protein. Now, I'm using chicken that we cooked last night and had left over. So you can use beef or pork or shrimp or tofu. Whatever protein source you have in the fridge will be fine. You can use, I'm using, obviously mine's cooked, okay? Yours, if it's not, is fine. It's fine if you have to cook yours, okay? So we're going to throw that in there and let that warm up a minute. I roughly chopped it, so I don't want my pieces too small. I don't want them too much smaller than the tortellini, okay? So this is just blackened chicken from last night, and we're just throwing it on here to get warmed up. And I'm going to turn the heat down on the tortellini. There we go. Keep that tortellini from going nuts. Turn the heat down. And we're just going to let this cook. We'll be back in a couple of minutes when this has really cooked a little more. All right. Our chicken is pretty much warmed up. Now we're going to take some mixed vegetables, whatever you like. I'm using frozen vegetables. My vegetables have beans and peas and corn and carrots. Okay, these are excellent for veggies. I'm just going to put these back in the freezer. But we're just going to throw in whatever vegetables you like. They could be fresh. They could be frozen. There's nothing wrong with frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables have the same nutritional content as the fresh vegetables. They're just easier to get out of season. Okay, and they can be a little bit cheaper. So I prefer fresh, not going to lie. But it doesn't actually matter. Okay? Oops, I'm losing chicken over the edge. Get in there. So, whatever veggies you want. You can have broccoli. You can have whatever you like. I just like this. I like this mix because I really like corn and peas. They're like my favorite. And we are going to take the opportunity to add 2 more tablespoons of butter. Okay, just so that can get in there and melt. Do its thing. Now we're going to start adding some herbs. Okay? Because we want to flavor this up a little bit. So we are going to add about a teaspoon, or it really depends how much you used when it comes to chicken and pasta. But in this amount, with, cup and a half of cooked chicken, I am using around a teaspoon of basil. I am going to use around a teaspoon, maybe a little more because I love oregano. That's what this is, around a teaspoon of oregano. We are going to use a little bit more in terms of parsley, so I might go up to a tablespoon here. And these are all dried. You can use fresh herbs. Yes, you absolutely can. My pasta is boiling over because I wasn't paying attention, and I turned my heat up way too high. We're fine. But you can use fresh herbs if you like, no problem. The only thing is with fresh herbs, you have to add more. This is salt, about half a teaspoon. You don't need a ton. And then we're going to get some pepper. And again, you don't need a ton, but black pepper, about half a teaspoon or so. And we're going to give that a mix. Okay. And we are going to not worry so much about the pasta. There we go. Mixing this up, doing our thing. The pasta is just going to cook till it's done. Your package directions will tell you, or depending on if it's frozen, you're probably looking at 10 to 12 minutes. If it's fresh, you're probably looking at between 6 and 10, depending on the size of the tortellini or ravioli that you're using. So it depends. Fresh doesn't take as long because it's not frozen. Okay. We are going to let this do its thing. And don't be afraid if you used frozen vegetables to check and see if they're hot. Okay, remember, they're cooked. Like, you can eat all of this raw. Not the chicken you can't eat raw, but the veggies, like, there's nothing wrong. Oops, I missed a carrot. But there's nothing wrong with having the veggies undercooked because they're just veggies. They're fine. So you kind of decide. And this is a good time. I'm going to call in my helper. And as soon as this pasta is done, he is going to dump it. Not dump the pasta. What he's going to do is put it on a hot pad on the counter for me. That's what he's going to do. Okay, he's going to put it on a hot pad. So he's just going to, we're just going to continue to cook this for a minute. I'm going to shut the heat off on our toppings, and we are going to let my helper sneak the pasta out. And we are going to go over to the counter just as soon as I add 2 more ingredients. We've turned the heat off, remember. So we're going to add about 3 or 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And we are going to add some Parmesan. Okay, any Parmesan or any cheese. I'm just using Parmesan because that's what's in the fridge. But if you don't like Parmesan and you have a mozzarella or a cheddar or a Gruyere, have at it. Okay, we are going to zip over to the counter and combine it. All right, we are over at the counter. I'm going to grab the topping. I'm just going to dump it on there. So how much topping you make is entirely dependent on how much pasta you make. But you can really customize this. This is a great time right now to add sun-dried tomatoes, or you could add fresh tomatoes, really whatever you like. There we go. Give that a mix. Give that a nice mix. Let's get a serving dish, a plate. If my hand wants to work, that would be great. I just about knocked all the plates on the floor. Go me. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. Anyway, get yourself a scoop or some kind of serving utensil, because the wooden spoon doesn't work great for that. And now we're just going to grab, and a little tip, if you have, for example, kids that don't like all the different stuff, you can prepare it separately. So you can prepare one dish of pasta, one dish of veggies, one dish of chicken or whatever you're using, and you will be more than happy to allow the kids to pick and choose. There we go. But that's it. That's literally it. It only takes a few minutes. It's delicious, nutritious, easy to make on a busy evening. This is one of the things I feed my kids when we just do not have time, because no one has time. So the only thing that will take time is if you have to cook the protein from scratch because it's not pre-cooked, and we just used last night's chicken, or if you're hand making the tortellini, which if you are going to hand make tortellini, which I love doing, do it in big batches and put it in your freezer. There's nothing wrong with the freezer, okay? Nothing at all wrong with using your freezer to preserve your food. Anyway, that is going to be about it for us here tonight at Andersen Acres. I hope you enjoyed making a quick tortellini salad with us. We like this. I hope you do too. Remember, you can customize it based on whatever your preferences are. You'd rather have shrimp and broccoli? Have shrimp and broccoli. That is going to be it for us here tonight at Andersen Acres. Drop a comment below if you enjoy making tortellini salad and what you like to put on yours. We'll see you tomorrow.